Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first official electronic meet. Haven't decided between extramural and electronic district meet. Whatever the case is, we're glad that you're here. My team and I are really excited to have you be a part of this first official event. Many of you participated a few weeks back when we began and tried the system out for the first time, and you got to hear all of us little greater elves talking in the background as we were running through the event. We think that we figured out some of that, but obviously, still kind of a work in progress. But hopefully, the aesthetic bells and whistles of the Halloween theme to the meet will be helpful and useful in distracting you from those little things that won't be perfect. So, as kind of a heads up, we are attempting to run our traditional district meets as much as similar to normal as possible. And in order to do that, we're going to be basically hosting the meet live or hosting the meet remotely but live through this system right here on YouTube Live. So we'll go through the same events that we always do. We'll begin with arithmetic, we'll move to trig analysis, we'll move to geometry, then we'll do algebra, and then finally we'll finish with group. Coaches will be moving you in and out of particular breakout rooms, like competitors will be in one breakout room, non-competitors for that problem, meaning that you're just unofficially doing the problem, will be in a different breakout room, and then basically you'll be uploading your work through Google Classroom, and then the greater elves back here will be grading your work. The greater elves have lots of names, and in the future we'll probably highlight their names. For now, it's not necessarily our priority. Each event I will show for you what event is coming up and make sure you're ready to go. And then I'll keep monitoring the chat in YouTube Live as best I can. I can't promise that my attention will be completely there all the time, but we will do our best to do that and juggle grading and get some nice announcements at the end. Before we begin, there were a few rule adjustments compared to what I had on the first initial practice event that were relevant to announce. So I do want to go through the event's rules just like normal, so that way we're all on the exact same page with all of those expectations. And then we'll get to the good problems that we have written for today, or that we have ready for today. So the rules of the e-meets are on the, let's see, it should be the left side of the screen. I have to check a couple times. I had trouble with kindergarten standard. Students will know the difference between their right and their left hands when I was younger. So over on that left side, we have the rules of the e-meet, very similar to the original rules that we had for Mathletes, just obviously adapted and modified to fit our digital landscape. So the first rule says be ready in Google Classroom when the problems begin and submit at 10 minutes. So basically our goal will be to post those problems. I'll pull that up in just a second, in fact, after I finish reading the rules and get the first event ready. But we want you ready to go so that way you are on right when I turn on that little candle. And what I mean by that candle is I will start this candle and it will go, and that will be your 10-minute clock. Once those 10 minutes are up, though, you will be expected to submit your work. I know it's tempting to try to write a little bit more, but we're going to hold you to exactly those 10 minutes, just like you'd have at a traditional event. Second, we'd like your name, school, team, and number clearly labeled. Obviously, you're in a Google Classroom associated with your school, so it would seem like the school wasn't important. But again, we're trying to maintain that same organization as we normally would, not just because it'll allow us to smoothly transition whenever we go back, but because it will help the greater elves themselves that are going through everything every single step of the way. Rule 3, don't communicate with anyone if they are testing. Basically treat it as though you were sitting at one of those awkward lunch tables writing down the problems. There's just less sounds around you and it feels more like your room. Basically, though, again, don't cheat. Just kind of work on the problem yourself and it'll all be good. Rule number 4, this has been clarified. So exact answers in simplest form only unless directed otherwise. So your default should be, if not told otherwise, to write an exact answer in the simplest form. So that means fractions like 4/6 would not be acceptable final answers. Fractions like 2/3 would. Having said that, there may be problems, including potentially in this event, that ask you to round to the nearest tenth, or round to the nearest thousandth, or express your answer as a mixed number. Those sorts of expectations could be in a particular problem, so it's up to you to read that problem carefully. Just because you missed it in solving the problem or you have the right thinking doesn't mean you'll get credit for the answer. So make sure that you do follow that. Something that we have to kind of untrain ourselves, me especially as a calculus teacher, because AP Calculus doesn't follow that standard all the time. Rule number 5, rationalize all denominators. That's just an expectation of our rule, so make sure that you do rationalize all denominators. Rule 6, include correct units where appropriate. So could be problems where there are units expected, so make sure that you are ready and prepared to include the correct units. If a problem does not include units, obviously you do not need to include units. We posted some really good directions about units in the Google Classrooms for Everyone directly from the problem writing team. So basically, you might take a look at that too later or today if you have time. Rule number 7 says scientific calculators only. Basically, even though physical calculators might not be possible depending on what you have, our expectation is you only use scientific calculators. I posted links to the Desmos scientific calculator in every one of the Google Classrooms. I think it was like 25 Google Classrooms, just making sure. So if you don't have one yourself that you can use in hand, you can access the Desmos Desmos scientific calculator. And again, that's different than the graphing one. There should be no graphing ability on there. Rule number 8, demonstrate integrity and patience. Integrity because obviously we want this to be a fair competition. I think that enhances the quality of the competition all the way through. And patience because if you're not patient, I'm going to go have a hard time, and it's going to be even more of a struggle. And I think I'm hiding it really well right now, but I'm super nervous to be going live this way and not being able to see the faces. I'm literally blocking out my team's faces right now on the screen. And finally, as it says at the bottom, rule number 9 is have fun. We want you to enjoy this experience. We want you to enjoy the competition along with your teammates, and we want you to feel the kind of fun event sort of experience that we would normally have. Like, that's what we're trying to simulate. That's why my team and I are like doubling our efforts to make this work. That's why I'm not watching the A's game right now, trying my best to live vicariously through my attire. So basically, like, we want you to enjoy yourself. We're going to try to make it as fun as possible. Obviously, I'm limited in my musical things. If someone wants to secure the rights to songs like Final Countdown, I'd appreciate it, but don't have that kind of cash lying around. So for now, we're just going to try to make the event work. So having said that, at 4 o'clock, we are going to begin the first event. So coaches, if you could begin moving your students, your competitors for the arithmetic event into their breakout rooms. Let's see, there we go. So current event will be arithmetic. We'll get started in just a few minutes. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you're looking forward to it too. Talk to you soon. Alrighty, we're about to post the first problem. Once again, this will be the arithmetic event. So you will have 10 minutes once the problem is posted to complete the problem as much as you can, and then to be prepared to submit and upload your answer in your Google Classroom. So if there are questions or issues that come up while they're happening, I have the live stream opened. We'll adjust as best we can. But without further ado, let me prepare the posting portion here. So let's see, this is that one. Sorry for the rhythm. I have a count for balancing out the times between the two classroom sets. So it's in the process of posting, which is the most stressful thing in the world that I can imagine at this point. Okay, again, please don't begin just yet. It tells me that all have posted, so in the next 15 seconds or so they should be appearing for you. You may need to reload to get them there. So I'll give you kind of my own internal count, and then we'll get started. Okay, having said that, I think we're ready to begin. The problems have all posted. You have 10 minutes starting now. 1 minute remaining for working on the problem. 1 minute remaining on arithmetic. Okay, please stop, put your pencils down. At this time, we will begin giving you 5 minutes to upload your answers. So again, make sure your header's on there, make sure your answers are clearly indicated on the paper. Make sure you take a really good photograph of that paper. If we can't read it, there's nothing we can do. We're going to try our best, but our vision's limited. Basically, like, do your best to upload it and then begin uploading in Google Classroom, whichever your respective Google Classroom is. Coaches, while this is happening, I'd recommend in the next 2 minutes or so that you leave the breakout room and prepare to create the second one for trig analysis in just a few moments. So in Greater L, stand by. So again, coaches, this would be a good time to begin preparing. Maybe you leave the competitor's room and prepare to close the breakout rooms so that way everyone will be able to come back and you'll be able to reset the breakout rooms for trig analysis. Okay, students, continue uploading. Like, be patient. Like, your phones don't like being forced to do these things and be on top of stuff. So just be patient. It'll come through in just a second. For the moment, coaches, like, I'd recommend, if you haven't already, to close your breakout room. I'm going to set about 3-minute timer. So basically during this time, you should be setting your next breakout rooms to prepare for trig analysis. So again, have the competitors one for all students who are taking trig analysis and have a non-competitors room for the rest. Again, in 3 minutes, I will begin preparing to put those problems up, or post those problems, I think is the word I'm looking for. And again, we're keeping things really steady, keeping it really casual today. We'll move things up when the next event happens if feedback's okay. Okay, we're about 1 minute away from beginning the trig analysis event. So we're about 1 minute away. Let me do the 8-point check. Okay, cool. So coaches, if you haven't already, please do open that breakout room for a trig analysis. I am ready to post. Just triple click on things. Okay. Just make sure one more time here. Cool. Okay, the problems are currently posting for trig analysis. So they're currently posting for trig analysis. So competitors, be ready if you're taking trig. Make sure you're ready to go. I'll let you know once they're posted, and I'll tell you when to begin. So again, sometimes there's a little lag between the two areas of Google Classroom that post. So please don't start until I officially set the candle timer. While I stare at the mercy of Google Classroom. Okay. They're beginning to post, it looks like. So again, please do not begin just yet. I want to make sure everyone has posted. Okay, I'm getting confirmation that the problems have all posted. So basically I'm getting confirmation that all the problems have posted. So it is officially the trig analysis event that is beginning. So please navigate to it if you haven't already. So just as with the last event, you have 10 minutes to solve the trig analysis events. Remember, you don't have to upload during this time though. So if you haven't already, you may begin. 1 minute remaining on trig analysis. 1 minute remaining. Okay, that brings to an end trig analysis. Please stop working. Put your pen or pencil or writing utensil or Apple Pen, I don't know, down. In the next 5 minutes, you'll be expected to, I'll start there. We'll ask you to upload your work. As a heads up, if you are not officially competing on this event, you should not be submitting your paper. Basically, it's only those who are competing on this problem officially that are listed on their team roster on Team A, Team B, Team C, whatever the team may be, that should be submitting their answers. Otherwise, it creates a really difficult situation where we're trying to navigate through things. So again, please, if you are not officially taking this competition event, do not submit on Google Classroom, please. Coaches, I would ask you again to begin preparing to leave the breakout room and then potentially create that third one for geometry. But we've got some time there. We're keeping a nice little cushion here for everyone. So coaches, we've reached that 1 minute after the event's completed. So obviously students are still uploading, still submitting. Obviously that's fine. But coaches, this might be a good time to leave your breakout room, the competitor's room, and then prepare to close the breakout rooms for everybody else. So that way you can be prepared to create the new ones for geometry, the third event. Okay, so coaches, I definitely recommend closing your breakout room for trig analysis and heading out. In 3 minutes, I will post the problems for geometry. So I'll give you some time to do that without me staring awkwardly at you. So give me a moment. Again, we'll start geometry in about 3 minutes. Okay, the problems will begin posting in about 42 seconds, so please head to your breakout rooms for the next event, which would be geometry. So again, start that breakout room for the competitors for geometry, start that non-competitors breakout room. And as a reminder, if you're not doing the problem officially, if this isn't an event you're assigned to, please do not submit your answers. Don't submit your paper. You can obviously do the problems. We'd love for you to do the problems, but don't submit your papers, please. Okay, the geometry papers have begun the posting process. This is an ordeal. If you're wondering what lovely rhythm I'm using this whole time, I'm trying to count out the system that I have for the lag time between the two Google Classrooms. So I'll let you know once they're posted. Again, please don't begin, even if it appears in your Google Classroom right away, please don't begin until I officially start the timer, simply so that we all have an equitable chance to reach them. Okay, a few of them are beginning to post right now, just waiting for the others. Alrighty, according to my data, it looks like the problems have posted for everyone, so please reload in Google Classroom. I will set the timer here in just a moment. Let's make sure they look right. Yep. Cool.
Okay, I have to go now, Mr. Stu.
Okay, so at this time, if you have not already, you may begin working on geometry. Your 10 minutes start now. 1 minute remaining. 1 minute remaining on geometry. Okay, please stop. Put your pencil, pen, or writing utensil down. That completes the geometry event. Please, students, begin uploading. Obviously, make sure your header's on there. Make sure all your information is present. You can always leave it in a comment if you need to also. But please begin uploading your problems. Coaches, I'd say this is just kind of like your time to kind of start thinking about leaving the room, but I'll give you a good announcement on time on that in just a second. So again, you should be uploading geometry now. And again, as a reminder, if you are not officially taking the event, and what I mean is if you're not assigned to that on your team, you're not competing in that event, please do not submit. If you're on a C or a D team, though, it's perfectly fine for you to submit if you are assigned to that event. Like, we are looking and expecting those submissions. We're just not looking for people who aren't competing on that problem, because it impedes our ability to fill out the official scoring stuff. So again, C team, D team people, E team people, feel free to submit if you're assigned to that particular event. Thanks. Okay, coaches, this would be a good time for you to leave the competition breakout room for this one. Not to close it, but just to leave, and then begin preparing to close the breakout room. Okay, coaches, I recommend that you leave your competition breakout room and you prepare to create the new breakout rooms in just a second. You might even close the breakout rooms in like maybe a minute. We will begin geometry in 3 minutes. So again, 3 minutes to geometry. Okay, I definitely recommend coaches that if you haven't already, that you begin preparing to open your competitors' competition breakout room and your non-competitors breakout room for the algebra event. This is the second to last event, and this is the last event with that won't be separated by teams. So keep that in mind. For all of these events, by the way, no one has asked, but all of the events are scientific calculator allowed for today. So hopefully you've been using those as well. Yes. So having said that, I will begin posting the things in 42 seconds. The problem should be close to posting.
Mr. Steele?
As of this moment, the problems are currently posting. So they're currently posting. Again, please do not begin, even if they show up early for you, until they've all been posted and until you see the candle appear on the screen. And that little beep is wishful thinking that it would just post on schedule. Like to imagine a bunch of really angry hamsters running around on a little wheel processing Google Classroom for us and slowly posting these things. Okay, again, a few of them look like they're posting. As of right now, please don't begin just yet. I'm going to double check to make sure that they have all posted. Okay, it appears that the problems have indeed posted for algebra. So, as always, you have 10 minutes to work through algebra. Again, that doesn't include upload. You'll have time for that afterwards. You may begin algebra now. 1 minute remaining on algebra. 1 minute remaining on algebra. Okay, algebra takers, please stop. Put your pencil, pen, or writing utensil down. This is the time for you to begin uploading. So I'll follow the exact same pattern to stay consistent here. So please begin uploading. Make sure obviously your header is on there. If you forget something, you can always type it into the comments. If you were competing on algebra, like you were assigned to algebra, whether you're A, B, C, D, E team, whatever it was, please do submit. If you weren't assigned to this event, basically please don't submit. I'll keep tracking the timing here, but we will be beginning our final event really soon, really shortly. Okay, coaches, I'd recommend at this point that you consider leaving the competitors' breakout room while they finish uploading. Please prepare then in just a little bit to close the breakout rooms, and then be ready. This one will take a little bit longer to create those breakout rooms for group, because obviously you'll need one breakout room per group that you have. As a reminder, your groups can only contain 3 students, and remember, every student can only do 3 events, so just keep that in mind as you do those things. I think we already knew that, but just in case. Okay, coaches, if you haven't already, please do leave. I'd recommend closing that breakout room as soon as possible. Even if you're still uploading, it'd still be good. We will begin group in about 3 minutes. And again, remember, you'll need a different breakout room for every one of your competing groups. So please get on that. In about 3 minutes, we'll be posting group. Okay, I'll be posting the group problems in just a few moments, and then of course we'll wait awkwardly for it to post. Again, coaches, make sure that you're doing separate breakout rooms for each of the teams that you have competing on this, like each of that group of 3 or however many it is that are doing it. And teams, I'll remind you, please don't begin until the candle shows up, just for balance purposes and fairness purposes. Okay, and as a heads up, the group problems are currently in the process, the excruciating, painful, slow process of posting. So we will get through that. As a reminder too, once this event ends, obviously we'll need some time to grade before we make our final announcements of results and before we certify those. So just keep that in your mind. Okay, let me check really quick here. Okay. So by my calculations, the group problem has officially posted for all groups. So I'll give you a second to reload a few times and make sure that you see it. Let me check one more time myself. Okay, I'm seeing it across the board in all districts and areas. So basically, as usual, you have 10 minutes. Read those instructions carefully and really enjoy this one, I think. So group problem, you have 10 minutes beginning now. 1 minute remaining on group, and remember, only one person from each group will be submitting the paper, and you should have all 3 names on that paper. So again, 1 minute on group, all 3 names on one paper, only one of you submit. Thank you. Okay, group competitors, please stop. Put your writing utensils down. Obviously, if you need to put the 3 group members' names on there, we'll allow that to happen this time, but you should take care of that ahead of time. Make sure your answer is clearly indicated as well. Again, we'll give you a moment to do that just the same. And again, only one person from each group should be submitting it, but all 3 names need to be on there. So coaches, obviously this one, it's not quite as essential to close that breakout room. I'd say to give them a little bit of time to get that through. Basically, like, keep an eye on it though. You might need to go into the join the breakout rooms for your groups to make sure that they're following protocol and like getting things submitted according to that in case they don't have the live stream going. But again, please do start that process. So coaches, please continue making the rounds, making sure that your groups are submitting their answers. We aren't going to begin grading this one just yet. We're going to take a second because this is a fairly complicated read to go through and look at. So we're going to be as careful as possible. And we will give you a heads up about announcing results. Obviously, it will take a few minutes because it's the final piece, and we also want to make sure that we certify and we have everyone counted and everything. So basically, you will need, probably it's a good idea to stand by, but just a heads up. Please continue submitting those group problem results, and we'll get back to you with results soon. Okay, hold tight. Enjoy talking about the problems as well. I will post the answers later. I was not able to create video solutions for these, but I think the answer keys are excellent tools for these ones, so I think you'll be good. So I'll give you updates when we're in progress, and yeah, keep uploading, and hope you've had a good time so far. Hopefully we'll get to have some fun at the end. As a heads up, we're still grading right now. We should be fairly close, probably in the next like 5 to 7 minutes, but just know that we are still grading. Thank you for being patient. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for being patient as we waited and worked our way through. That last problem was awesome and fun to do, as long as you had a team with you. It was very frustrating when I did it by myself. But basically, it takes a little while to grade all those and then to make sure that we certified every single team and that we had the right number of participants on each one for the A and the B teams. So having said that, this does wrap up our first ever fully electronic official meet. So congratulations to all of you for participating in this and being a part of this experience for the first time, or coming for a few weeks ago and then trying it for real. So we want to end this thing by announcing the results, of course. Before we do that, I do have a little bit of information that I can throw out there. The date of our next competition, as of right now, and should be expected to be probably official, is Thursday, November 12th, 2020. We'll be right here, probably with different images on the background of this live stream. But Thursday, November 12th should be our next event, so be ready for that. Obviously, use the solutions that you have available there. And second, for those of you who are taking finals, like our graders were today from my team, basically, thank you for making time and still coming out here and working on the event. I really appreciate it, and I hope you had a really good time and had some fun thinking and talking about these great problems. So having said that, we can announce the results here. We will be announcing the top 3 places. As a heads up today, there was a 2-way tie for 3rd place, which resulted in some fun, I think. Let me check this really quickly just to make sure. Looks like it's good. Let me see. Okay. So in 3rd place, the tiebreaker, by the way, is with your A or B team. So basically, we look at the 2nd place team and we look to see which one it is. Okay, in 3rd place today, with a score of 71 points, is Pleasant Grove High School. And at this point, like, I would love to have like applauding images and like their logo appear, but I did not get that far ahead. We've been grading pretty fast. So basically, congratulations, Pleasant Grove, 3rd place. In 2nd place today, with a score of 79 points, I'd say have a drum roll, but I won't be able to hear you. I'll just be imagining it. So in 2nd place today, Laguna Creek High School. Congratulations to the Cardinals. 2nd place in the first official electronic meet. And then finally, in 1st place, with a robust score of 82, dominating all the way through, in 1st place today is Bella Vista High School. So congratulations, Bella Vista. Great job in taking the trophy home. Like, your trophy looks a little bit like this for right now. We haven't been able to create our unofficial trophies, and we wouldn't have a way to send them to you. But congratulations on that performance. We'll have the results obviously available. Your coaches have access to that. And you can check over our shoulders if you want to take a look at the problems at all. I will post the solutions later on, the written solutions, and I hope that you find good use for them. So one more time, thank you for coming today. Unfortunately, I wish I could wish you a safe drive home, but you're possibly already home. And I wish that weren't the case, but I'm glad that you're here with us today. So thank you again for all coming out today, and have a great night, everybody.